everyone, welcome to Dryer Days Art Studio. I'm Catherine. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome back if you've been here before. Well, I've got a bunch of new products to bring to you guys. I'm so excited for this video. And I want to present to you, first things first, we are going to be using Arteza's Mica Powders. Oh gosh, guys, these are beautiful. There's 60 of them in this box, if you can believe that. They come in this really nice, sturdy box. On the back here, you've got all the colors featured. There's 60 of them, as I said, and they are certified non-toxic. They are multi-purpose and cosmetic grade. And down here in the bottom, it shows you whatever usage you're using them for, how much of a portion that you need. So it shows you if you're into like making soap or nail polish, eyeshadows, and even epoxy, it shows you how much that you need. And inside here, you can see all of the colors. It does include this information right here stating that all of these have been specially weighed, and some of the jars may look like they have more or less pigment than other jars, and this is because some pigments are more dense. I've noticed, especially with the chameleon pigments, it does seem like those are more dense and are heavier. It comes with this really cute little spoon too. How cute is that? I really appreciate these jars. It keeps things really clean and organized. There's a safety seal. And just use your little spoon here to scoop out what you need. It does keep things very nice and clean. And I didn't even know where to begin with picking a color. There were so many. So I decided to do 2 different coasters with these pigments, and I am going to be featuring 2 of the new molds by Just For You Online UK that you can find in my store, dryerdaysartstudio.com, if you're in the US and Canada. So we will put the box away for now. I'm going to think about what colors I want, and I'm going to show you one of the new molds right now. This is the Natural Agate Slice Silicone Molds. This is how they come, nicely packaged individually. And as you can see, they have a cute little hole in the middle. These are available for sale as individuals, or you can get them in a set of 4. The diameter is about 4 3/4 inches, and the depth is about 1 centimeter, which is close to 3/4 of an inch deep. For these molds, I'm using strawberry red, royal orange, tangerine orange, and the pure gold pigment by Arteza. And also going to be using some fine champagne gold glitter by Just For You Online UK. Getting them all thoroughly mixed. I am using my heat resistant resin by Just For You Online UK. And those items by Just For You are available again in my online store. These Arteza pigments, you will be able to find a link for them down in the video description below, along with a little discount code that will be valid for the date specified down in the description. As you can see, very nice and vibrant colors here. I wanted to explain too, measuring out the heat resistant resin. If you might be able to see there in the lower left hand corner, I have a couple numbers written down. They're kind of covered by the sticks there, but in measuring the heat resistant resin, it is a 2-to-1 ratio of resin. That means 2 parts of resin to 1 part of hardener. So how I mixed this up was I decided I wanted about 150 milliliters total. So I just did 100 milliliters of the resin and then 50 milliliters to the hardener. And that came out to about 5 ounces of total resin to work with, and that's just about right. I usually tell people that I find 2.5 ounces is usually sufficient per mold, so then 5 ounces would be perfect for this. So I find sometimes it's easier to mix the 2-part resins in the milliliter side than it is in ounces. So that's just how I prefer to mix it, and most of your cups will have ounces and milliliters listed on either side. And then just hitting real quick with some low heat to pop any of those bubbles. We say this all the time in every video, but please, 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 no torch or open flame on your silicone molds. It will ruin them. And here they are. They've cured for about 24 hours. And I am going to use my gloves to demold them because I want to finish the edges with a gold finish with my marker. And sometimes when I use my markers, I like to do a flood coat. So because I'm going to be applying more resin to these, I wanted to definitely have my gloves on so I'm not getting my hand oils anywhere on these. Plus, I recommend if you're touching resin within that 24-hour mark of them curing, it's still in that curing phase, and we still want to protect our skin. I really like how these colors all went together. Those pigments really gave a nice earthy look, especially on this side. The colors stayed very vibrant and true. I'm loving that strawberry red. I don't do a whole lot with red, and I really, really like how these look. And you can see just gently working the outside rim and the inside rim to gently get these out. And you can see with that 2.5 ounces per mold, kind of the thickness you get with these. I don't prefer to fill them all the way to the rim. Some people do. That's personal preference. If you do like to fill them all the way to the rim, you're probably going to need more than 5 ounces, probably closer to 6 total. And I do edge the entire thing in gold. I'll show more in depth with these here how I do the edging. I'm going to use that heat resistant resin, and I'm going to use these pigments that I picked out here, which are the Laurel Green, which I'm using here, really pretty color. And I will also use the Bronze, which is up there on the right, and then the Chameleon Green, which is up there on the left. And I'm going to get them all mixed up. And I did choose a glitter to use as well, which is the Paris Lights, which you can find in my online store. And all of the products that I'm using in every video you can always find listed in the description below. So definitely check out those links. I am an Amazon affiliate, so anything that you buy through my Amazon store or the links provided does help support my channel, so thank you so much for that. If you'd like to support my channel in other ways, I do have a PayPal Me account set up where you can make a one-time donation, or I have a Patreon page as well where you can sign up to do monthly donations, and there are incentives to doing that, like bonus content, other giveaways that I do. I also send people thank you cards with a Dryer Days sticker included. So just something to think about if you are interested in supporting the channel. I appreciate you just watching, commenting, liking, and sharing with your friends as well. You can come find me on Instagram at Dryer Days, and you can also find me on Facebook at Dryer Days, or I have a Facebook group where you can share your artwork, and that is Dryer Days Art Studio Resin and Fluid Art Group. Sorry, it's a lot. Dryer Days Resin Art and Fluid Art. Oh my god, it's a lot. It's a lot. Just check the description. I'll put it down in there. It's a lot of stuff to remember, you guys. I'm all over the place promoting and trying to get these products to you. Once again, I did use the heat resistant resin. I really like this resin by Just For You Online UK. I do sell it inside my store. And it's just really, really nice. I have used other heat resistant resins as well, and this one I just like how it cures. I find that the 2-to-1 ratio resins, for whatever reason, feel like they have less bubbles. Ooh, there's that Paris Lights. I want to show you guys a close-up real quick. It's so sparkly. Paraslites is a very fitting name for that. We'll also definitely have the link for where you can find that in my store. So let me go ahead and mix these up, and I'll be back with you guys in just a second. Starting off with a little puddle of the Paraslites in the middle, I wanted the glitter to be pretty prominent in the middle, so I'm doing a little barrier with clear resin. As some of you may know if you work with the coaster molds, because there really aren't any barriers, the colors do tend to blend, but there are ways to try to sort of keep things separate. That's where I'm bringing in this clear resin here. I have noticed with the Paraslites that it tends to sink. And so actually when I'm done with these, while they're curing, I didn't film this off to the side, but after a few hours when the resin is sort of tacky but not wet anymore, I do sprinkle on a little bit of the Paraslites on this side of the mold, and then I will do a flood coat, which I'm going to show all you that later, but I did just want to mention that now. Sometimes you will have glitters that sink, and then you really only have them showing up on one side, and so I have started doing that during the curing process, where I will drizzle some of that glitter on. And then here's the beautiful laurel green, just such a nice rich color, very earthy, a really nice tone. Doing the bronze here. And I had a little extra, so I added it to a pyramid mold that I had going off to the side. And finishing off what I had of the chameleon, really pretty color. You can see there that chameleon green. And I had some more, see, the laurel green. Trying to fill up the molds. And again, light heat, keeping the heat source moving, not staying in one spot too long, and no torch, no open flame at all, please. Save your molds. And drizzling some clear on top to give some beautiful layering effects. And a little heat one last time. And a little close up before I set them to cure. And again, while they're curing, I do sprinkle a little bit of that Paraslites on top, as you can see there. And now I'm just doing a flood coat. I get the question all the time, how do I keep drips from happening on the underside of the coaster if we're doing a flood coat? So I saw a couple people trying out liquid latex, and I thought I would give it a try and see how it works. So I did try it on some other coasters before I attempted it on these, because I was really happy with how these turned out and I didn't want to ruin them. I bought some liquid latex. I got it on Amazon. You can find it down linked below, or it will be in my store as well, the exact kind that I'm using for this. And I just pour a little bit into a paper Dixie cup, and I'm just going to use a sponge brush that you can see there to the left. You can get them super cheap at like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any craft store. You can rinse them out and reuse them if you want, but they're so cheap, and I was using latex on these, so I just opted to throw it out. And so let's get started. I got a pretty hefty amount on the brush there, and that's why I kind of came in the middle of the coaster, because I didn't want to dump a whole lot on the edge. But you can see just using that foam brush to lightly get it all the way up to the edge. And this was the top side, if you will, of the coaster, so it had that little rim there that I was able to bring this up on. I should mention too that I gently sanded the edges of these to get any extra resin off that had hardened and created little shards or pieces up on the side. I had pulled those off and sanded gently. This latex that I purchased does dry clear. You can find other ones that have more of like a flesh tone as they dry. but this does dry pretty clear, so I was really keeping an eye on it, and it was almost hard to tell if it was drying or if I missed a spot, because it is clear, but you can kind of tell from the texture and the consistency of it as it dries if you have it over an area. And I will just go around and do this on this entire one and the other mold, and I'll come up and do it as well on that inner rim of the inner hole on this as well, because that is obviously an area that can form drips too. And while that latex was drying, I wanted to demold these other ones and show you how I do the rim with my gold marker. And I just come all around the edges, and I will do a little bit on either side as well to kind of rim the edges there. I have applied the latex to the undersides of both sets of these now, and it has fully dried. I'm using my EcoArt Solution Stir Stick cover there. You should really check them out down in my description. Great products for resin artists, reusable items to help us cut down on waste. So if you want to check them out, there is a link in the description as well as a discount code. So just using the heat resistant resin again, and getting a really nice flood coat over the entire surface, using my finger to get into the little nooks and crannies all around the edges here. Using my gloves, and also going to be mindful to use a baby wipe or paper towel to get any resin residue off my gloves so that I'm not getting resin too much on the underside of this. The latex is there to help catch any drips, but I just like to keep things as clean as I can and not be too messy. So I will continue to get that resin down and apply it on all of these coasters, and we'll see how these turn out. A nice little perk to doing the flood coats too, once these are demolded, is you can use your torch. So I will set these aside and cover them and let them cure. Now that they are done curing, I want to show you how I peel off that liquid latex. The cup stuck to my latex there, but you can see the drips. I'm pointing to them. And yeah, just work the liquid latex up. You can see there it has caught the drips. It's pulling them right off. There you go. It didn't mess with my gold line too much either, which I was pretty happy about. When I had tested this stuff out before, it had pulled up some of that gold edging, but this time it really didn't, so very pleased with that. So here they are, all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And please check out the description for all the products used. I hope you guys can try out some of these really cool products. Using these fun and high quality products is what makes this hobby so much fun and easier to do when you're using good stuff. So thank you all again so much for watching, and until next time, keep on pouring.